Get comfortable, settle into your pillow, take a slow breath, and let yourself relax. Tonight, we're going through over 150 facts about Hollow Knight, little pieces of lore, hidden details, and strange trivia that paint a picture of this beautiful, melancholy world. Some of these you might know, others might surprise you. If this helps you drift off, leave a like so I know to make more, and let us know where you're watching from in the comments. Now close your eyes if you'd like, and let these facts wash over you one by one, carrying you gently towards sleep. The core of Team Cherry is just 2 people, Ari Gibson handling art and animation, and William Pellon on programming and design. They worked out of a small office in Adelaide, Australia, pouring nearly 3 years into every detail of Hallownest. Christopher Larkin composed the soundtrack, his haunting melodies becoming inseparable from the game's identity. When they launched their Kickstarter in November 2014, they asked for 35,000 Australian dollars. They got 57,000. That extra funding let them expand the game far beyond their original vision. More areas, more bosses, more secrets hidden in the dark. The game wasn't always called Hollow Knight. Early in development, Team Cherry called it Hungry Knight, and the tone was completely different. The protagonist was motivated by hunger, not mystery. The gameplay was comedic rather than melancholic. Somewhere along the way, the team found the darker heart of their story, and Hungry Knight became something else entirely. Hollow Knight released in February 2017 for PC. It came to Nintendo Switch in June 2018, and that's when everything changed. The Switch version introduced the game to millions of new players. Many consider it the definitive way to experience Hallownest. Portable, intimate, perfect for late nights when sleep won't come. The kingdom exists entirely underground, beneath a mountain that separates it from the world above. Before the Pale King arrived, the bugs who lived there were mindless creatures driven by instinct, living and dying without thought or memory. They had no names, no history, no sense of self. Then the Pale King gave them consciousness, and everything changed. But the Pale King wasn't always a king. He wasn't always pale. Before Hallownest, he was something else entirely. A worm, a massive serpentine creature of immense power. Worms are ancient beings, older than kingdoms, older perhaps than gods. The Pale King chose to shed that enormous form, to die as a worm and be reborn as something smaller, something that could walk among the bugs he wished to rule. Why would a god make himself small? The game never tells us directly. But consider this. The worm's corpse still lies in Kingdom's Edge, a colossal husk of pale chitin that dwarfs everything around it. Standing before it, you understand what the Pale King gave up. All that power, all that majesty, he traded it for a crown and a kingdom that would eventually destroy itself. Your breathing has slowed, your body is settling into rest. Let these facts continue to drift past you, each one a small piece of a larger picture, none of them requiring you to hold on too tightly. The Radiance existed before the Pale King. She was a being of pure light, a moth deity who connected all the bugs of the region through shared dreams. Under her rule, they had no individual consciousness, but they belonged to something greater than themselves. They basked in her glow. They were never alone. When the Pale King gave the bugs individual minds, they forgot her. Not naturally, not gradually. The Pale King actively suppressed her memory, erasing her temples, scattering her followers, replacing her worship with his own. He wanted to be the only light his subjects knew. but forgotten gods don't simply fade away. The radiance festered in the collective unconscious, growing angrier with each passing year. Her light curdled into something toxic. When she finally broke free, her rage became the infection. Orange growths, glowing eyes, minds consumed by a god who refused to be forgotten. Here's a detail that changes how you see the infection. It's not really a disease. It's the radiance forcing herself into minds that forgot her. She wants to be remembered. But her method of forcing that remembrance destroys the very mind she's trying to reach. She's not evil, exactly. She's desperate. She's lonely. She's been abandoned by everyone who once loved her. The Pale King's solution was to create a vessel, a being with no mind to think, no will to break, no voice to cry suffering. He believed such a creature could contain the radiance, seal her away where she couldn't reach his subjects. This led to the creation of the Hollow Knight. But here's the tragedy. The Hollow Knight wasn't truly hollow. Despite everything, it developed something like attachment. In the Path of Pain, one of the hardest platforming challenges in the game, you can find a hidden memory. It shows the Hollow Knight as a child, looking up at the Pale King with something resembling love. That tiny crack in its emptiness was enough. The seal was doomed from the start. You play as one of the Hollow Knight's siblings, another vessel, another attempt at creating the perfect prison. But you were discarded, cast into the abyss with countless others when you failed to meet the Pale King's impossible standards. The abyss is filled with the shells of your dead siblings. Thousands of them, maybe more. You climbed out. They didn't. Let your thoughts drift like leaves on still water. You don't need to hold on to any of this. Just let it wash over you. The Dreamnail was created by the Moth Tribe to access the Radiance's realm. It's one of the oldest artifacts in the game, predating Hallownest itself. When you use it on certain characters, you can read their thoughts, and some of those thoughts are heartbreaking. Use it on the Hollow Knight during the final battle, and you'll see a single phrase. Father. Quirrel is one of the most beloved characters in the game, and his story is quietly devastating. He was Monomon's assistant before the infection, a devoted student who helped her in her research. When Monomon became a dreamer, she erased his memories and sent him away, protecting him from Hallownest's fate. He wandered for years, not knowing who he was or where he came from. Something called him back. He doesn't know what. He explores alongside you, appearing at key locations, offering insights and companionship. His final appearance is at the Blue Lake, where he sits peacefully watching the water. If you sit beside him, he speaks of his journey and his contentment. After you leave, he disappears. Only his nail remains, stuck in the ground by the water's edge. The implication is clear, though the game never states it directly. Quirrel has died. His journey is complete. He found what he was looking for, and he chose to end his story in a place of peace. Many players sit with him for a long time before leaving, not wanting to trigger his disappearance. The Nailsmith has a similar choice built into his story. He's devoted his entire life to perfecting his craft, and when you upgrade your nail to its maximum level, his life's work is complete. He asks you to kill him with the perfect nail he created, to end his story at its peak. You can do it, or you can spare him. If you spare him, he eventually finds his way to Shio's hut, where he discovers a new passion for painting. You can find him there later, happy, covered in paint, having found purpose beyond his original craft. It's one of the few unambiguously happy endings in the game. Your eyelids are heavy now, your body is warm and relaxed. Let these stories settle around you like a soft blanket. Zote the Mighty is a joke character, arrogant, incompetent, constantly getting into trouble he can't handle. But here's something most players miss. He has 57 precepts. 57 rules for life that he'll recite if you talk to him enough. They range from practical, if you try, succeed, to absurd, don't eat immediately before sleeping, to genuinely philosophical, strength beats strength. Listening to all 57 precepts takes a long time. Most players give up, but if you're patient, if you're the kind of person who listens to sleep scripts about video game lore, you might find something oddly comforting in Zote's rambling wisdom. He's ridiculous, but he's trying. In a world full of tragedy, there's something sweet about that. The Grimm Troop DLC introduces one of the most fascinating pieces of lore in the game. The troop travels between dying kingdoms, feeding on the flames of their collapse. They've done this for eons, perpetuating something called the Nightmare's Heart through an endless ritual of death and rebirth. The Nightmare King Grimm fight is one of the hardest in the game, but there's an elegance to it. His attacks follow clear patterns, almost rhythmic in their precision. Many players describe the battle as feeling like a dance, brutal and beautiful, punishing but fair. Learning his movements, anticipating his strikes, it all comes together into something that rewards patience and attention. Brum, the accordion player, is tired. He's performed this ritual countless times, watched countless kingdoms fall, played the same songs over and over. He offers you a choice: complete the ritual as Grimm intends, or help him destroy the Nightmare Lantern and end the cycle forever. If you end the cycle, Brum loses his memories. He becomes Nim, a simple bug with no knowledge of his past. He seems happier. The burden of endless repetition is gone. But you have to wonder, is forgetting really freedom, or is it just another kind of death? Let yourself drift deeper now. The facts are becoming softer, more distant, like voices from another room. The White Palace exists in a dream, hidden within the mind of a dead king's mould. To reach it, you have to use the dream nail on a specific corpse in the palace grounds. A corpse that gives no indication it's special. Most players never find it without a guide. Inside the palace is a death trap. Saw blades everywhere. Spikes. Precision platforming that punishes the slightest mistake. But here's the thing. The palace wasn't always like this. The Pale King transformed it as his paranoia grew, filling his home with hazards to keep everyone out. Even his own servants. The royal retainers, the bugs who once attended to the king, have been transformed into part of the architecture. Their faces are visible in the walls, frozen in eternal service. They didn't escape. They couldn't escape. The king sealed them in with him. The Pale King's corpse sits on his throne, crown still on his head. He died alone, surrounded by his creations, having failed to save his kingdom. How he died is never explained. Maybe the infection reached him. Maybe he gave up. Maybe, after everything, he simply chose to stop. The White Lady mourns him still. She speaks of him with love and sorrow, acknowledging his flaws while grieving his loss. He was a worm, and I loved him, she says. Their relationship was complicated. Two beings who tried to build something together and watched it crumble, but was real. Your breathing is slow and steady now. Your body has settled completely. Let these final pieces of the story find their place in your mind. The game contains numerous references to other works. The Pale King's obsession with creating the perfect vessel echoes Frankenstein. The infection spreading through dreams recalls Lovecraftian horror. The Mantis Tribe's code of honor draws from samurai traditions. Team Cherry wove these influences together into something that feels entirely its own. Deepnest is widely considered the scariest area in the game, and the sound design is why. The ambient noise is carefully crafted to create constant unease. Skittering sounds, distant screams, the sense that something is always just behind you. Many players have to take breaks while exploring it. The atmosphere is that effective. Nosk is found in Deepnest, a creature that mimics the appearance of other bugs to lure prey. When you first see it, it looks like someone you might know, maybe even yourself. It leads you deeper into its lair before revealing its true form. The moment of revelation is one of the most effective horror beats in any game. The Grubfather's story seems dark at first. You rescue 46 grubs throughout the game, and they return to their father, who rewards you for each one. When all are rescued, you find he's eaten them all, his belly swollen with their forms. But listen to the sounds they make inside him. They're happy, content. The Grubberfly's elegy charm found nearby suggests this is part of their natural life cycle, that they'll eventually emerge transformed. It's disturbing, but maybe not as tragic as it first appears. Sometimes what looks like an ending is actually a transformation. Let that thought carry you deeper into rest. Endings and transformations, sleep and waking. The cycle continues. The Godseeker came from a distant land called the Land of Storms, seeking gods to worship. Her entire civilization was devoted to finding and serving higher beings. When she found the void, she believed her search was over. She was wrong, or maybe she was right. The game leaves it ambiguous. The Pantheon of Hallownest is considered one of the hardest challenges in any video game. It combines every boss into a single gauntlet that takes over 40 minutes to complete. No checkpoints, no mistakes allowed. At the end waits the absolute Radiance, the Radiance at full power, faster and more aggressive than her normal form. Defeating her triggers one of the game's most ambiguous endings. The night becomes something new, the void given focus, and consumes the Radiance entirely. Whether this is salvation or catastrophe, the game doesn't say. The Godseeker and her realm are consumed as well. Everything ends, or everything begins again. The night never speaks throughout the game, never expresses emotion, never indicates preference. They are a vessel, empty of everything except purpose. And yet players project so much onto them. Courage, determination, love for the siblings they never knew. We fill the emptiness with ourselves. Team Cherry confirm that the night, like all vessels, has no gender. They are void given form beyond such distinctions. Players are free to interpret them however they wish. The emptiness is an invitation. Your mind is quiet now. Your thoughts are distant and soft. Let these last facts settle like dust in still air. The game has sold millions of copies. It's won numerous awards. It's inspired countless other games and established Team Cherry as a major force in indie development. But more than that, it's created a community that's still active years later, still discovering secrets, still sharing theories, still finding new ways to experience this world. Speedrunners have pushed the game to its limits, completing it in times that seem impossible through precise movement and glitch exploitation. Modders have created new content, new challenges, new ways to play. fan artists and writers have expanded the story in directions Team Cherry never imagined. The game belongs to everyone now. Hollow Knight Silksong is coming. Someday. It stars Hornet, the knight's half-sister, in a new kingdom called Farloom. Team Cherry has been quiet about development, releasing only occasional updates. The anticipation has made it one of the most awaited games in history. When it arrives, it will be worth the wait. But that's a story for another night. Tonight, you rest. Tonight, you let Hallownest fade into comfortable darkness. You've travelled far through the City of Tears and the Fungal Wastes, through Deepnest and the Abyss, through the dreams of gods and the memories of kings. None of it requires anything from you now. The facts have been shared. The stories have been told. There's nothing left but the gentle weight of sleep pressing down on you, warm and welcome and complete. The night's journey is over. Yours continues tomorrow. But for now, there is only this moment, only this rest, only the perfect quiet of a mind at ease. The void embraces you, not as darkness, but as comfort, as the absence of worry, as the soft, still nothing that comes before dreams. Sleep well, little knight, sleep well. But perhaps you're still awake, still listening, still wanting more gentle facts to carry you the rest of the way. Let me share more. The deeper lore, the stranger details, the things that make Hallownest feel so impossibly real. The City of Tears gets its name from the eternal rain that falls through its ceiling. A massive lake sits above the city, and water constantly drips through the stone, creating the melancholic atmosphere that defines the area. The architecture is elegant, tall spires, grand plazas, sweeping bridges, all of it empty now, monuments to a civilization that no longer exists. Christopher Larkin's theme for the City of Tears is one of the most beloved pieces of video game music ever composed. It's a simple piano melody, melancholic and beautiful, that perfectly captures the sadness of the fallen capital. Many players cite it as the moment they fell in love with the game. The rain, the music, the empty streets, it all comes together into something that feels less like a game and more like a memory. The Soul Sanctum sits in the heart of the city, a place where scholars once studied the nature of soul, the white energy that animates all living things. They believed soul could cure the infection. They were wrong, but they kept trying anyway, their methods growing more desperate and unethical with each failure. Soul. Master led the Sanctum's research. He was respected once, a brilliant mind devoted to saving his kingdom. But desperation corrupted him. He began draining soul from living bugs, killing them in the process, convinced that enough soul could purify anything. The Sanctum is filled with his victims, the mistakes and follies, failed experiments that shamble through the halls, tragic reminders of good intentions gone horribly wrong. Let your body sink deeper into the mattress. Let your thoughts become soft and formless. These facts ask nothing of you. The Mantis Tribe never fully submitted to the Pale King's rule. They maintained their independence, their traditions, their code of honour. When the infection came, their discipline protected them. They're one of the few groups in Hallownest that survived intact. The Mantis Lords are three sisters who rule the tribe. When you enter their throne room, they test you in combat, not out of hostility, but out of respect. They want to know if you're worthy. If you defeat them, they bow. Every mantis in the village becomes friendly. You've earned their respect through strength, the only currency they recognize. But one mantis rejected the code. The traitor lord embraced the infection, abandoned his tribe, and claimed the Queen's gardens as his domain. His betrayal is absolute. He killed the White Lady's attendants, corrupted his followers, turned his back on everything his people believed. The other mantises despise him. When you fight him, you're not just defeating a boss, you're delivering justice. The Traitor Lord's daughter is buried in the Queen's gardens. She fell in love with Zima, one of the 5 great knights, a mantis and a knight, 2 beings from different worlds. Their love was forbidden. When the daughter died, Zima retreated to the resting grounds to mourn, becoming the Grey Mourner. The delicate flower quest asks you to carry a fragile flower from the Grey Mourner to her lover's grave. The flower breaks if you take any damage. You have to make a perfect run through dangerous territory, navigating enemies and hazards without a single mistake. It's frustrating. It's tedious. And when you finally succeed, when you place the flower on the grave, the Grey Mourner's gratitude is overwhelming. She gives you another flower. You can place it on other graves if you want. A small detail, easy to miss. But it shows how deeply Team Cherry thought about player choice and consequence. Your breathing is slow, and even now, your heartbeat is steady. Let these stories continue to unfold, asking nothing, offering only gentle company. The 5 great knights serve the Pale King with absolute loyalty. Ogrim, the Dung Defender, Isma of the Acid, Zima the Grey Mourner, Drya the Swift, Hegemol the Mighty. Each had unique abilities. Each served faithfully. None escaped the fall of Hallownest unscathed. Ogrim is the only one still alive and sane. He retreated to the royal waterways, guarding a secret passage, throwing balls of dung at anyone who approaches. He's ridiculous and endearing, a knight who never stopped believing in his duty, even when everything else fell apart. His dream form, the White Defender, is one of the most challenging fights in the game, and one of the most joyful. Isma's Grove is hidden in the royal waterways, a peaceful garden where Isma's remains can be found. She could purify acid, making it harmless. Her tear, crystallized after her death, passes this ability to you. It's a gift from beyond the grave, one knight helping another across the boundary of death. Drya died defending the White Lady. Her body lies in the Queen's gardens, surrounded by the corpses of the enemies she killed before falling. She was swift and deadly, one of the finest warriors in Hallownest. Her loyalty lasted until her final breath. Hegemol's fate is stranger. His armour was stolen by a maggot, the creature who became the False Knight, the first major boss you encounter. The real Hegemol was a gentle giant, massive and powerful but kind-hearted. What happened to him after his armour was taken? The game doesn't say. But he probably didn't survive. Let these knights fade into memory. They served well. They deserve rest. And so do you. The Stag stations once connected all of Hallownest, a network of tunnels travelled by massive beetles who carried passengers on their backs. The last stag is exactly what his name suggests, the last of his kind. All other stags died or disappeared as the kingdom fell. He's been waiting alone in the stations for years, maintaining his roots out of duty and hope. When you ride with him, you give him purpose again. He's grateful in a way that's almost painful to witness. He's been so alone for so long. Your presence means everything to him. There's a hidden area called the Stag Nest, where the last stag's eggs wait to hatch. Finding it gives him hope that his kind might continue, that he's not truly the last. It's a small moment of optimism in a game filled with tragedy, a reminder that even in dying worlds, new life can emerge. The Colosseum of Fools sits in Kingdom's Edge, an arena where warriors fight for glory and geo. The trials are brutal, waves of enemies that test your combat skills to their limits. The final trial is one of the hardest challenges in the base game, culminating in a fight against God Tamer and her beast. But here's a secret most players miss. There's a hidden area above the Colosseum, accessible only through precise platforming. Inside, you'll find the Pale Lurker, a mini-boss guarding a simple key. She's easy to miss, one of many secrets tucked away in corners of the game, waiting for curious players to discover. Your eyelids are so heavy now. Let them close if they haven't already. Let the darkness behind them become comfortable and warm. Bardoon is an ancient caterpillar who lives in Kingdom's Edge. So old he remembers the time before the Pale King. He speaks slowly, thoughtfully, offering insights into history that no one else can provide. He's one of the few characters who can speak about the worm, about what the world was like before Hallownest existed. This ashen place is all that remains of him, Bardoon says, referring to the worm's corpse. His pale brilliance, his great mind, his endless ambition, all gone. There's something almost mournful in his words. He watched a god die, and a kingdom rise and fall. He's still here, waiting, though for what he doesn't say. The Hive exists separately from Hallownest, a kingdom of bees who maintain their independence. Hive Queen Vesper protects her people fiercely, her power keeping the infection at bay. The bees are hostile to outsiders. They attack anyone who enters their domain. But they're not evil. They're just protecting what's theirs. Vesper herself is a dream boss, fought using the dream nail. She's already dead when you find her, but her spirit remains, still guarding her hive. Even in death, she won't abandon her duty. There's something admirable about that, even as you fight her. The pale ore is scattered throughout Hallownest, 6 pieces needed to upgrade your nail to its maximum level. The ore is connected to the Pale King, possibly fragments of his original worm form, possibly materials from his realm. Each piece is hidden in a difficult location, rewarding thorough exploration. Let these details drift past you like clouds. You don't need to remember them. You don't need to do anything at all. The hunter lives in Greenpath, a large bug dedicated to cataloguing every creature in Hallownest. He gives you the Hunter's Journal, which fills in as you defeat enemies. Each entry contains lore, small details about the creatures you fight, their origins, their behaviours, their place in the ecosystem. Completing the journal requires defeating every enemy type, including some that only appear in specific circumstances. The Menderbug, for instance, appears only when you break the sign at the entrance to the Forgotten Crossroads and then leave and return. He repairs the sign. Killing him grants an achievement and a journal entry. Most players never encounter him naturally. The hunter respects dedication. When you complete his journal, he acknowledges you as a true hunter, someone who understands the value of knowledge. His approval feels earned in a way that few video game achievements do. Millabelle the banker offers to store your geo for safekeeping. She seems trustworthy at first. Friendly, professional, reliable. But if you deposit enough geo, she steals it and flees. You can find her hiding in the pleasure house in the City of Tears, where you can attack her to recover your geo with interest. It's a small moment of justice in an unjust world. She betrayed your trust. You get to make her pay. The geo you recover is more than you deposited, as if the game is rewarding you for tracking her down. Your body is completely relaxed now. Your mind is quiet and still. Let these final facts carry you the last distance to sleep. The Grimm Troop's tent appears in Dirtmouth after you light the Nightmare Lantern in the Howling Cliffs. The lantern has been dark for ages, waiting for someone to reignite it. Your action summons the troop from wherever they wander between dying kingdoms. Inside the tent, everything is theatrical. Red curtains, dramatic lighting. Troopmaster Grimm himself, elegant and mysterious, treating everything as a performance. Even his boss fight feels like a dance. Precise movements, clear rhythms, patterns that reward players who learn to move with the music. The Grimm child grows as you gather flames from the Grimmkin scattered throughout Hallownest. Each stage requires more flames, gathered from increasingly powerful enemies. The process mirrors raising a child, feeding it, nurturing it, watching it grow stronger. If you complete the ritual, the Grimm child becomes the new Grimm, and the cycle continues. Divine is the strangest member of the troop. She eats your fragile charms and transforms them into unbreakable versions of valuable service. But her appetite seems to extend beyond charms. She speaks of eating other things, including possibly other members of the troop. Her hunger is endless, a void that can never be filled. The carefree melody charm is obtained only if you choose to end the cycle, destroying the Nightmare Lantern and freeing the troop from their eternal duty. It's a gentle charm that occasionally protects you from damage, a small gift representing the peace that comes from breaking cycles, from choosing rest over endless repetition. Let yourself break the cycle of wakefulness now. Choose rest. Choose peace. Choose sleep. The Abyss is the deepest place in Hallownest, a realm of absolute darkness where the void pools in an ancient sea. The Pale King used this void to create the vessels, mixing it with soul to produce beings that were alive but empty. The process required countless attempts. The Abyss is filled with the shells of failures. When you descend into the Abyss with the King Soul charm, something changes. The void recognizes you. Your siblings' shades rise up, not to attack, but to acknowledge. You're one of them. You always were. The King Soul transforms into the Void Heart, and you become something new, a vessel that has accepted its nature. The Shade Cloak is obtained in the Abyss, an upgrade that lets you dash through enemies and obstacles. It represents your connection to the Void, your ability to become shadow for a moment. With it, you can reach areas that were previously inaccessible. The Void gives you power if you're willing to embrace it. There's a massive creature in the background of the Abyss, visible only as a silhouette. It's never explained or addressed. It simply exists. A reminder that the Void contains things beyond understanding. Some players theorize it's the source of all Void. Others think it's something else entirely. The game doesn't say. Your thoughts are fading now, becoming distant and soft. Let the Void embrace you, not as darkness, but as the comfortable nothing that comes before dreams. The infection's orange colour contrasts with the pale white of the Pale King's influence and the deep black of the Void. These three colours represent the three major forces in Hallownest: the old god, the new god, and the primordial darkness. Every area, every creature, every detail is touched by one of these forces. Colour symbolism extends throughout the game. Blue represents lifeblood and healing. Green represents nature and growth. Pink represents the crystals and their strange energy. The game communicates through colour in ways that feel intuitive, even if you never consciously notice. The Hollow Knight fight is one of the most tragic in gaming. Your sibling, the vessel who was chosen when you were discarded, has been containing the Radiance for years. The seal is breaking, the infection is leaking through, and the Hollow Knight is fighting against itself, stabbing its own body, trying to maintain a seal that's already failed. In the later phases of the fight, it stops attacking you entirely. It just hurts itself over and over, desperate to contain what can no longer be contained. You're not fighting an enemy, you're putting a sibling out of its misery. If you have the Void Heart, you can use the Dream Nail on the Hollow Knight mid-fight. This takes you inside its mind, where the Radiance waits. The true final battle, light against void. A god who refused to be forgotten against a vessel who was never supposed to exist. The Radiance fight takes place on platforms above an endless void. She attacks with beams of light, summoning swords and spikes, filling the screen with golden death. It's challenging but fair. A test of everything you've learned. Defeating her ends the infection. The knight sacrifices itself to destroy the old god, and Hallownest is finally free. But is it? The kingdom is still ruined. Most of its inhabitants are still dead. The Pale King is gone. The dreamers are gone. What's left is empty streets and silent halls and the memory of what once was. You saved Hallownest, but there's nothing left to save. Let that thought drift away. It's just a story, just a game, just gentle sounds carrying you towards sleep. The Godmaster content adds another layer to the ending. The God-Seeker dreams of gods, challenging them in her mind, seeking the ultimate being to worship. If you complete her pantheons, if you defeat every boss in sequence, culminating in the absolute Radiance, something else happens. The night becomes the void given focus. All the void in Hallownest unifies, consuming the Radiance, consuming the God-Seeker, consuming everything. It's ambiguous whether this is salvation or catastrophe. The void is hungry. It always has been. Maybe you've just given it the power to consume everything, or maybe you've transcended. Maybe the night has become something beyond vessel or void, something that can finally rest. The game doesn't say. It leaves you with questions, with uncertainty, with the strange comfort of not knowing. Some players prefer the ambiguity, others find it frustrating. But there's something appropriate about a game this melancholic ending on a note of uncertainty. Hallownest was always a place of unanswered questions. Why should the ending be any different? Your breathing is barely perceptible now. Your body is heavy and warm. Let these last facts settle like dust in still air. Team Cherry continues to support the game years after release. Free DLC added the Grimm Troop, Godmaster, and numerous quality of life improvements. They could have charged for this content. They didn't. They wanted everyone who bought the game to have the complete experience. The community has created thousands of mods, adding new content, new challenges, new ways to experience Hallownest. Randomizers shuffle item locations, creating unique playthroughs. Challenge mods increase difficulty for players who've mastered the base game. The modding scene keeps Hollow Knight alive in ways Team Cherry never anticipated. Speedrunners have pushed the game to its limits, achieving completion times that seem impossible through precise movement and glitch exploitation. Watching a speedrun is like watching a different game entirely, the same world, but experienced at impossible speed. Fan art floods social media. Fan fiction explores characters and relationships the game only hints at. Theories about lore details spark endless debates. The community's creativity extends the story in directions Team Cherry never imagined, and they seem genuinely delighted by it. Hollow Knight merchandise exists: plushies, figures, clothing, art books. The Knight's simple design translates well to physical products. Fans display their love for the game in their homes, on their shelves, on their bodies. It's become more than a game. It's become a shared experience, a common language, a world that belongs to everyone who's explored it. And somewhere in Adelaide, Team Cherry is working on Silksong, the sequel, Hornet's Story, a new kingdom called Farloom, with new enemies, new abilities, new mysteries to uncover. It's been in development for years. Team Cherry is quiet about progress, releasing only occasional updates. The anticipation is immense. Fans have been waiting so long that Silksong When has become a meme, a shared joke about patience and hope. When it finally releases, it will be an event. Millions of players will return to Team Cherry's world, ready to explore, ready to struggle, ready to fall in love all over again. But that's for another day, another night, another journey. Tonight, you rest. Tonight, Hallownest fades into comfortable darkness, its stories told, its secrets shared, its melancholy transformed into the gentle weight of approaching sleep. You've travelled far, through the City of Tears and the Fungal Wastes, through Deepnest and the Abyss, through the dreams of gods and the memories of kings. You've met knights and scholars, warriors and wanderers, a kingdom's worth of characters who lived and died, and left their marks on a world that will never forget them. None of it requires anything from you now. The facts have been shared. The stories have been told. There's nothing left but rest. The night's journey is over. Yours continues tomorrow, in the waking world with all its challenges and possibilities, but for now there is only this moment, only this breath, only the soft, still nothing that comes before dreams. The void embraces you, not as darkness, not as emptiness, but as peace, as the absence of worry, as the gentle, welcoming rest you've earned. Sleep well, little knight. Sleep well, but wait. There's more to share, more corners of Hallownest to explore, more details that make this world feel so impossibly alive. Let these additional facts settle around you as you drift deeper towards sleep. The Forgotten Crossroads is the first major area you explore, but it wasn't always forgotten. Before the infection, it was the main thoroughfare of Hallownest, a bustling hub where bugs travelled between regions, where merchants sold their wares, where life happened. The name itself is a tragedy. A place so vital, so central, reduced to something forgotten. As the infection spreads, the crossroads transform. Orange growths cover the walls. New enemies appear. The atmosphere shifts from melancholic to hostile. This transformation happens after you defeat certain bosses, showing that the infection continues to spread even as you fight against it. You're not just exploring a dead kingdom, you're watching it die in real time. The False Knight is the first major boss, but he's not really a knight at all. He's a maggot who found the armour of a fallen warrior and claimed it as his own. His brother, the failed champion, was the original owner, a warrior who tried to protect his siblings but couldn't. The dream version of this fight is more desperate, more tragic. You're fighting someone who already lost everything. Essence is the currency of dreams, collected from dream sources throughout Hallownest. You gather it by defeating dream warriors, challenging dream bosses, and striking whispering roots with the dream nail. Each root releases a swarm of glowing particles that you must collect before they fade. It's a peaceful activity, a break from combat, a chance to breathe. The seer rewards you as you collect essence, offering items and encouragement. She's one of the last moths, tending the graves in the resting grounds, waiting for someone to complete the work her tribe abandoned. When you collect enough essence, she reveals her true nature and fades away. Her purpose is complete. The moths are truly gone now. The Moth Tribe's fate is one of the saddest in Hallownest. They were the Radiance's original, worshippers, basking in her light, sharing her dreams. When the Pale King rose to power, they abandoned their god. They chose consciousness over connection, individuality over unity. The Radiance's rage is partly their fault. They betrayed her first. Markoth is a dream warrior who remained loyal. He's a moth, one of the few who never forgot the old god. He guards the dreams of Kingdom's Edge, fighting with a spinning shield and spectral nails. His loyalty makes him unique among the dream warriors, a true believer in a world of apostates. Let your thoughts become soft and formless. You don't need to hold on to any of this. Just let it wash over you like gentle rain. The Crystal Peak is a mountain filled with pink crystals that hum with strange energy. The miners who worked here became obsessed with the crystals, eventually transforming into crystallized husks. Their pickaxes still swing, their bodies still move, but whatever made them people is gone, replaced by something that only knows how to dig. The Crystal Guardian is one such miner, massive and powerful, its body overtaken by crystal growth. You fight it twice, once in the peak, once in the resting grounds. The second fight is harder, the crystals having grown further, the creature having become more powerful. It's a small detail, but it shows how the corruption spreads even in areas you've already cleared. Myla is a miner in Crystal Peak who sings while she works. Her song is cheerful at first, a simple tune about burying bodies and digging through rock. As the infection spreads, her song changes. The words become darker, her voice becomes strained. Eventually she stops singing entirely. When you return later, Myla is fully infected. She attacks on sight, her cheerful personality gone, replaced by mindless aggression. You can kill her or leave her be, but you can't save her. There's no cure, there's no hope. She's just another victim of a tragedy too large to comprehend. Many players refuse to kill Myla. They leave her alive, infected but breathing, because killing her feels like giving up. It's irrational. She's already gone. But the attachment players feel to this minor character shows how effectively the game builds emotional connections. Your breathing is slow and steady. Your body is warm and heavy. Let these stories continue to unfold, asking nothing in return. The royal waterways are the sewage system of the City of Tears, a network of pipes and channels carrying waste away from the capital. It's dark and damp, filled with unpleasant creatures, flukes, pill flips, things that thrive in filth. The contrast with the elegant city above is stark and intentional. The fluke marm is a grotesque boss found in the waterways, a massive creature that spawns smaller flukes. The hunter's journal calls her the alluring god of motherhood, suggesting she was once worshipped. How she ended up in the sewers, what happened to her followers, the game doesn't say. But there's something tragic about a god reduced to spawning in filth. Ogrim guards a secret passage in the waterways, the last of the 5 great knights still alive and sane. He throws balls of dung at you. He laughs with joy when you fight him. He's ridiculous and wonderful, a knight who never stopped believing in his duty even when everything else fell apart. His dream form, the White Defender, reveals more of his character. He dreams of the Pale King, of his fellow knights, of the glory days when Hallownest was whole. He's not fighting you in his dreams. He's reliving his greatest moments, the battles that defined him, the service that gave his life meaning. Isma's Grove is hidden behind a passage Ogrim guards. It's a peaceful garden, overgrown but beautiful, where Isma's remains can be found. The tear she left behind grants you the ability to swim in acid, a gift from one night to another, across the boundary of death. Let these nights rest now. They've earned it, and so have you. The Queen's gardens were once beautiful, tended by the White Lady and her servants. Now they're overgrown and dangerous, filled with thorns and hostile creatures. The traitor lord's presence has corrupted what was once a place of peace. The White Lady herself is bound in place, wrapped in her own roots, refusing to move or create more life. She helped create the vessels. She watched them die. The guilt weighs on her so heavily that she's chosen to become a prisoner in her own body. I implore you, do not think too harshly of our choices, she says. We did what we thought was right. It's not an excuse. It's not a justification. It's just the truth. Two beings who tried to save their kingdom and failed, who made terrible choices for what seemed like good reasons, who have to live with the consequences forever. The king's old charm represents their union, two halves of a whole. The Pale King's half comes from his corpse. The White Lady's half comes from her liven body. Together they generate soul slowly, a reminder of the life-giving power they once shared. But the King's Old's true purpose is transformation. Take it to the abyss, confront the memories there, and it becomes the Void Heart, the charm that lets you access the true endings, the symbol of the vessel that has accepted its nature. Your eyelids are so heavy now, let them close. Let the darkness become comfortable as warm. Greenpath is one of the first major areas you explore, a lush forest filled with plant life and acid pools. It's peaceful despite its dangers, a green respite from the darker regions of Hallownest. The moss knights guard the overgrown paths, plant-bug hybrids who bow before combat, honouring the old traditions even in death. Un is an ancient slug god who sleeps in the Lake of Un deep within Greenpath. She's one of the higher beings of Hallownest, a deity who existed before the Pale King arrived. Her followers, the Mosskin, still worship her. Her power can be felt in the lush growth that fills the area. The shape of Uncharm lets you move while healing, transforming into a slug that can slide away from danger. It's Un's gift to those who find her, a small piece of her power shared with the stranger who took the time to seek her out. The Moss Prophet preaches in Greenpath, a religious figure speaking of light and transcendence. His sermons are vague and mystical, open to interpretation. Some think he's talking about the Radiance, others think he's talking about you. The game never clarifies, leaving players to find their own meaning. Hornet first appears in Greenpath, a mysterious warrior who tests your abilities. She's fast and aggressive, punishing mistakes harshly. Defeating her proves you have the skill to continue, and earns her grudging respect. You've proven yourself, she says afterward, but there are greater trials ahead. She's not wrong. Greenpath is just the beginning. The real challenges are still to come. Let Hornet's words fade into silence. The trials can wait. Tonight, you rest. The Fungal Wastes are home to the Mushroom Clan, sentient fungi who communicate through spores. They're strange and alien, Their thought process is different from the bugs who make up most of Hallownest's population. Mr. Mushroom is the strangest of all, a large mushroom who speaks in cryptic riddles about the nature of reality. Finding all of Mr. Mushroom's locations reveals a secret ending where he flies away into the sky. It's absurd and wonderful, a moment of pure weirdness in a game that usually takes itself seriously. Where he's going, what he knows, the game doesn't say. Some mysteries are meant to remain mysteries. The Mantis village sits at the edge of the Fungal Wastes, home to the proud warrior tribe. The mantises watch you as you pass, hostile but not attacking. They're waiting to see what you'll do. If you challenge their lords and win, everything changes. If you don't, they remain enemies forever. The choice to fight the Mantis Lords is optional. You can skip them entirely, never earning their respect, never gaining safe passage through their territory. But most players fight them anyway. The battle is too good to miss. 3 sisters attacking in sequence, then together, a dance of blades that rewards patience and precision. Deepness waits below the Mantis village, accessible only after proving yourself to the lords. It's the most terrifying area in the game, a dark labyrinth filled with spiders and parasites and things that skitter in the shadows. The sound design is masterful. Ambient noise, distant screams, the constant sense that something is watching. Many players have to take breaks while exploring Deepnest. The atmosphere is that effective. Team Cherry understood that horror isn't about jump scares or gore. It's about atmosphere. It's about the feeling that you're not safe, that something is wrong, that the darkness itself is hungry. Your body's completely relaxed now. Your mind is quiet and still. Let these darker facts pass through you without leaving a mark. Hera the Beast ruled Deepnest before becoming a dreamer. She was fierce and protective, a queen who cared deeply for her people. Her bargain with the Pale King was purely transactional. She would strengthen the seal, and in exchange she would have a child. That child was Hornet, the only thing Hera truly wanted. She gave up her waking life, entered eternal sleep, all for the chance to be a mother. And then she never got to raise her daughter. Hornet grew up in Deepnest, but Hera was already dreaming, already gone. Hornet's feelings about her mother are complex. She guards Hallownest fiercely, testing those who would disturb the seals, including the seal on Hera. She knows that breaking the seals means killing her mother. She does it anyway, because some things are more important than family. The Weavers were a tribe of spiders who lived in Deepnest, master craftsmen who wove silk into beautiful creations. They created the Weaver Song charm, which summons small weaverlings to fight alongside you. But the Weavers themselves are gone, departed through a mysterious seal to somewhere beyond Hallownest's borders. Where did they go? Why did they leave? The game doesn't say. The Weaver's seal is locked, inaccessible to the night. Whatever the Weavers found on the other side, they never came back. Some players theorize they went to Farloom, the kingdom in Silksong. Others think they found something else entirely. Midwife is a spider who lives in Deepnest, offering cryptic advice and unsettling conversation. She speaks of Hera with respect, and of Hornet with something like affection. Her role in Deepnest society is unclear, but her name suggests she helped bring new life into the world, including perhaps Hornet herself. Let these spiders fade into the darkness. They can't reach you here. You're safe in your bed, warm under your covers, drifting peacefully towards sleep. The ancient Basin is one of the deepest areas of Hallownest. located just above the abyss. It was once a place of significance, home to the palace tramway, various important structures, the infrastructure of a functioning kingdom. Now it's dark and quiet, populated by shadows and memories. The broken vessel is found here, another of your siblings claimed by the infection. Fighting it is tragic, a battle against someone who should have been family. Its dream form, the lost kin, is even more desperate, fighting with the fury of a lost soul who never got the chance to live. The palace tramway once connected the ancient basin to the White Palace, carrying the Pale King and his servants between locations. The tram still works somehow, after all these years. You can ride it, travelling through darkness, arriving at a station that leads nowhere useful. The infrastructure remains. The kingdom it served is gone. Void tendrils reach up from the abyss, extensions of the primordial darkness that fills the bottom of the world. They react to your presence, recognizing you as one of their own. You're made of the same substance, you came from the same place. The void knows you, even if you don't fully know yourself. The shade cloak transforms your dash into something more, a moment of pure void that can pass through enemies and obstacles. It's obtained in the abyss, a gift from the darkness that birthed you. With it, you can reach areas that were previously inaccessible. The void gives you power if you're willing to embrace what you are. Your thoughts are fading now, becoming distant and soft. Let the void embrace you, not as darkness, but as the comfortable nothing that comes before dreams. The lifeblood core is a massive creature in the abyss, ancient and mysterious, possibly predating Hallownest itself. Approach it with enough lifeblood masks, and it grants you a powerful charm. Its connection to lifeblood suggests it might be the source of that strange blue substance, the blood of an ancient being seeping through the rocks of the kingdom. The birthplace is a memory hidden in the abyss, accessible only with the king soul. Entering it shows the moment of your creation, rising from the void sea alongside countless siblings, climbing toward the light, watching most of them fall back into darkness. Only a few made it high enough to be considered. Only one was chosen. That one wasn't you. You were discarded, cast aside, left to die in the dark with all the others who weren't perfect enough. But somehow you survived. Somehow you climbed out, and now you've returned to the kingdom your father built, to finish what he started, to succeed where he failed. The Hollow Knight was chosen because it seemed empty. No mind to think, no will to break, no voice to cry suffering. But it wasn't truly hollow. It looked up at the Pale King with something like love, and that tiny crack was enough. The seal was doomed from the moment it was created. You might be different. You might be truly empty. Or you might have your own cracks, your own attachments, your own reasons for doing what you do. The game never tells you. It lets you decide what the night is, what it feels, what it wants. The emptiness is yours to fill. Let that thought carry you deeper into rest. You don't need to decide anything tonight. You don't need to be anything. You can just exist, empty and peaceful, drifting towards sleep. The Black Egg Temple sits at the heart of Hallownest, containing the Hollow Knight and the seal that binds the Radiance. 3 locks protect it, each connected to a dreamer. To enter you must kill Lurian, Monomon, and Hera. You must end their eternal sleep and break the chains they forged. Lurian watched over the City of Tears from his spire, devoted to the Pale King above all else. His loyalty was absolute. He became a dreamer willingly, sacrificing himself for his king without hesitation. His death is quick and quiet, a single strike, and he's gone. Monomon sought knowledge above all else, studying in the archives, trying to understand the infection even as it consumed her kingdom. She was Quirrel's teacher, the one who erased his memories and sent him away. Her death is witnessed by Quirrel himself, who helps you break her seal. He watches his mentor die, and then he walks away to find his own ending. Hera's death is the hardest. She's Hornet's mother. She gave up everything for a child she never got to raise. Killing her means orphaning Hornet completely. No father, no mother, just a half-sister made of void and a kingdom full of corpses. But you do it anyway. You kill all 3 dreamers, you break the seals, you enter the black egg and face what waits inside. The Hollow Knight is waiting. Your sibling, the chosen one. The vessel that was supposed to be perfect but wasn't. It's been containing the Radiance for years, and the strain has broken it. Orange infection leaks from its eyes. Its movements are erratic, desperate. It's fighting against itself as much as against you. In the later phases, it stops attacking entirely. It just stabs itself over and over, trying to contain what can no longer be contained. You're not fighting an enemy, you're ending a tragedy. Your breathing is barely perceptible now. Your body is heavy and still. Let these final moments of the story wash over you. The basic ending has you take the Hollow Knight's place. You become the new seal, containing the Radiance within yourself, buying Hallownest more time. It's a sacrifice, but not a solution. The infection will break free eventually. Someone else will have to make the same choice you did. This sealed sibling's ending is darker. If you have the void heart but don't use the dream nail, Hornet helps seal the black egg, trapping herself inside with you. 2 siblings imprisoned instead of 1. The seal is stronger, but the cost is higher. The dream. No more ending requires the void heart and the dream nail. You enter the Hollow Knight's mind and face the Radiance directly. Light against void. A god who refused to be forgotten against a vessel who was never supposed to exist. Defeating the Radiance destroys her. The infection ends. The night sacrifices itself, consumed by the void it was made from. Hornet survives, emerging from the temple to find a kingdom finally free of the plague that destroyed it. But free for what? The kingdom is still ruined. Most of its inhabitants are still dead. What's left is empty streets and silent halls, and the memory of what once was. You saved Hallownest, but there was nothing left to save. The Embrace the Void ending goes further. Complete the Pantheon of Hallownest, defeat the Absolute Radiance, and the night becomes something new. The Void given focus. All the void in Hallownest unifies, consuming the Radiance, consuming the Godseeker, consuming everything. Is it salvation? Is it catastrophe? The game doesn't say. The void is hungry. It always has been. Maybe you've given it the power to consume the world. Or maybe you've transcended, become something beyond vessel or void, something that can finally rest. The ambiguity is intentional. Team Cherry wanted players to find their own meaning, to decide for themselves what the ending represents. Some find it hopeful, others find it terrifying. Both interpretations are valid. Both are supported by the text. Let the endings fade now. Let the interpretations dissolve into comfortable uncertainty. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to resolve every question. Some mysteries are meant to remain mysteries. The knight's journey is over. All the journeys are over. The facts have been shared. the stories told, the secrets revealed. There's nothing left but the gentle weight of sleep pressing down on you, warm and welcome and complete. Hallownest will be there tomorrow, if you want to return. The City of Tears will still be reigning. The Mantis Lords will still be waiting. The Void will still be pooling in the abyss, patient and hungry and eternal. But tonight, you rest. Tonight you let it all go. Tonight you become empty, not like a vessel, but like a cup that's been drained, ready to be filled again with whatever tomorrow brings. The void embraces you, not as darkness, not as emptiness, but as peace, as the absence of worry, as the soft, still nothing that comes before dreams. Sleep well, little night. Sleep well. Perhaps you're still drifting, still listening, still wanting more gentle facts to carry you the final distance. Let me share a few more details. The obscure trivia, the hidden connections, the things that reward the most dedicated explorers. Dirtmouth is the town above Hallownest, the first place you see when you begin the game. It starts nearly empty, just Elderbug, an elderly bug who's too nervous to venture below. He warns you about the dangers. He worries about your safety. He's the first friendly face you encounter, and his concern feels genuine. As you progress, Dirtmouth grows. Characters you meet below move to the surface, creating a small community of survivors. Sly opens his shop. Iselda sells maps. Bretta fills her house with drawings of her hero. The town becomes a measure of your progress. The more you explore, the more alive it becomes. Elderbug notices the changes. He becomes more hopeful as the town fills up, eventually expressing gratitude for your presence. You've brought life back to this place, he says. It's a small moment, easy to miss, but it shows how your actions ripple outward, affecting people you might not even notice. Sly is more than he appears. He runs a shop now, selling items and charms, but he was once a great nail master, one of the finest warriors in Hallownest. He trained the 3 brothers who teach you nail arts. He retired to run his shop, but his skills remain sharp. If you learn all 3 nail arts from his students, he teaches you the final one himself. The Great Slash, the Dash Slash, the Cyclone Slash. Each nail art was developed by one of the brothers, each reflecting their personality. Oro is aggressive and direct. Sheo is artistic and precise. Matto is enthusiastic and powerful. Learning from all 3 gives you a complete combat education, tools for every situation. Cornifer is the map maker, a bug who ventures into dangerous areas to chart them. You can find him in most major regions, humming to himself as he works. His dedication is admirable. He goes places that would kill most bugs, armed only with a quill and parchment, driven by the need to document what he sees. Iselda misses the adventure. She used to explore alongside Cornifer, but now she stays in Dirtmouth, selling the maps he makes. Bapanada, she sighs, a word that seems to express longing and resignation. She's content with her life, but part of her wishes she was still out there, discovering new places, facing new dangers. Let these characters settle into the background of your mind. They're just people, living their lives, doing their best in a world that's falling apart, like all of us. The Grimm Troop's arrival transforms Dirtmouth. A massive red tent appears, impossible architecture that shouldn't fit in the small town. Inside, the troop waits, performers and servants, all devoted to the ritual that sustains them. Troop Master Grimm is the heart of the performance. He's elegant and theatrical, treating everything as a show. Even his boss fight feels choreographed, precise movements, clear rhythms, patterns that reward players who learn to move with the music. He bows before and after combat, maintaining his showmanship even in battle. The Nightmare King is what Grimm becomes when you face him in the Dream Realm. He's faster, more aggressive, more demanding. The fight is considered one of the hardest in the game, a test of reflexes and pattern recognition that pushes players to their absolute limits. But here's the thing about Nightmare King Grimm. He's fair. Every attack has a tell. Every pattern can be learned. The difficulty comes from execution, not randomness. Players who master the fight describe it as transcendent, a perfect dance of death that rewards dedication and punishes impatience. The Grimmkin are the troop's servants, flame creatures that appear throughout Hallownest after the troop arrives. They come in 3 varieties, Novice, Master and Nightmare, each more powerful than the last. Defeating them gathers flames for the ritual, fuel for the Grimm Child's growth. The Grimm Child itself is fascinating. It's a charm that summons a small companion, a creature that fights alongside you, growing stronger as you progress. It's Grimm's child, born from the flames you gather, destined to become the new Grimm when the ritual completes. If you finish the ritual, the old Grimm dies in flame, and the Grimm Child takes his place. The cycle continues. The troop moves on to the next dying kingdom, ready to perform the same ritual. Again, it's been happening for eons. It will keep happening forever, unless you stop it. Grimm offers you a choice. Destroy the Nightmare Lantern and end the cycle. Free the troop from their eternal duty. Let them rest. If you choose banishment, Grimm loses his memories. He becomes Nim, a simple bug who plays accordion in Dirtmouth, happy and unburdened. The carefree melody charm appears where the lantern once stood, a gentle reminder that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let something end. Your body is so heavy now. Your thoughts are soft and distant. Let these choices fade into comfortable uncertainty. The Godhome content adds layers of complexity to the game's theology. The Godseeker dreams of gods, challenging them in her mind, seeking the ultimate being to worship. Her people came from the land of storms, a distant place devoted entirely to finding and serving higher beings. They found many gods, the Radiance, the Pale King, the Nightmare's Heart. But none satisfied them. They kept searching, kept seeking, until they found the Void, a force so fundamental, so absolute, that it might be the ultimate god they sought. The Pantheons are the God-Seeker's challenges, boss rushes that test your mastery of combat. Each Pantheon focuses on different themes: the Master, the Artist, the Sage, the Knight. Completing them unlocks new content and brings you closer to the final challenge. The Pantheon of Hallownest combines everything. Every boss in the game, fought in sequence with no checkpoints and no room for error. It takes over 40 minutes to complete. A single mistake can end a run that was going perfectly. It's considered one of the hardest challenges in any video game. At the end waits the absolute Radiance, the Radiance at full power, undiminished by centuries of imprisonment. She's faster and more aggressive than her normal form, her attacks filling the screen with golden death. The fight takes place on platforms above an endless void, with oblivion waiting below. Defeating her triggers the Embrace the Void ending. The Night unifies all void, becoming something new, something that consumes the Radiance entirely. The Godseeker's dream collapses. Everything ends, or everything begins again, depending on how you interpret it. Let that thought carry you deeper into rest. The Void consuming everything, or the void becoming something new. Either way, the journey ends. Either way, you can rest. The game's sound design deserves special attention. Christopher Larkin's music is justly celebrated, but the ambient sound is equally important. Each area has its own sonic identity. The rain in the City of Tears, the chittering in Deepnest, the crystalline hum of the peak. The sound team understood that audio creates atmosphere as much as visuals do. Deepnest is terrifying partly because of what you hear. Skittering sounds, distant screams, the sense that something is always just out of sight. The abyss is oppressive because of its silence, the absence of sound creating a weight that presses down on you. Boss fights use audio cues to telegraph attacks. The Mantis Lords click before they strike. Grimm's cape rustles before he moves. Players who learn to listen can react faster than players who only watch. The game rewards attention to every sense. The City of Tears theme is built around a simple piano melody, melancholic and beautiful. It loops seamlessly, creating an endless rain of notes that matches the endless rain falling through the ceiling. Many players cite it as the moment they fell in love with the game, the moment the atmosphere clicked and Hallownest became real. Sealed Vessel, the theme for the Hollow Knight fight, shifts as the battle progresses. It starts tragic and becomes desperate, matching the Hollow Knight's deteriorating condition. The music tells the story as much as the visuals do. A sibling breaking apart, a seal failing, a tragedy reaching its climax. Your breathing is barely perceptible now. Let the music fade into silence. Let the silence become comfortable and warm. The game's visual design is equally thoughtful. Team Cherry developed a distinctive art style. Simple shapes, expressive animations, a palette that shifts dramatically between areas. The night itself is almost featureless, a blank canvas onto which players project their own emotions. Each area has its own colour identity. The City of Tears is blue and grey, melancholic and elegant. Greenpath is vibrant green, full of life despite its dangers. Deepnest is dark and organic, all chitin and silk and shadow. The Crystal Peak is bright pink, harsh and alien. The Infection's orange stands out against every palette, a visual warning that something is wrong. Infected creatures glow with it. Infected areas are covered in it. The colour itself becomes threatening, a sign of corruption that players learn to recognise and fear. The Radiance is pure gold and white, blinding in her brightness. Fight in her is visually overwhelming. Beams of light, golden swords, a screen full of deadly beauty. She's terrifying not because she's ugly, but because she's beautiful. Her light is the light that once connected all bugs in shared dreams. Now it destroys everything it touches. The void is pure black, the absence of colour, the opposite of the Radiance's brilliance. The night is made of it. The abyss is full of it. It represents emptiness, but also potential, a darkness that can be shaped into anything. Let the colours fade to comfortable grey. Let the visuals dissolve into the darkness behind your eyelids. You don't need to see anything now. You just need to rest. The game rewards exploration in ways both obvious and subtle. Hidden areas contain upgrades and lore. Secret passages lead to optional bosses. Every corner of Hallownest has something to discover, some detail that enriches the world. The Paylor is scattered in 6 locations, each requiring skill or persistence to reach. The mask shards and vessel fragments increase your health and soul capacity, hidden throughout the kingdom. Charms are tucked away in corners, rewards for thorough exploration. But the real rewards are often intangible. A piece of lore that explains a mystery, a character interaction that adds depth, a view that takes your breath away. The game is full of moments that exist purely to be discovered, to reward players who take their time and pay attention. The Hunter's Journal is the ultimate expression of this philosophy. It contains entries for every enemy and boss, each with lore that enriches the world. Completing it requires defeating every enemy type, including rare spawns and hidden bosses. It's a massive undertaking, but the sense of completion is worth it. The hunter himself respects dedication. When you complete his journal, he acknowledges you as a true hunter, someone who understands the value of knowledge. His approval feels earned in a way that few achievements do. Speedrunners take the opposite approach, skipping everything non-essential, optimizing routes to shave seconds off their times. Their mastery of the game systems is remarkable. Precise movement, glitch exploitation, intimate knowledge of every shortcut. Watching a speedrun is like watching a different game, the same world but experienced at impossible speed. Runners skip entire areas, sequence breakthrough walls, manipulate the game's physics in ways the developers never intended. It's a testament to how deeply players have engaged with Hollow Knight, how thoroughly they've mastered its systems. The modding community has extended the game's life even further. New bosses, new areas, new challenges, all created by fans who loved the game so much they wanted more. The randomizer mod shuffles item locations, creating unique experiences each playthrough. Challenge mods increase difficulty for players who've mastered the base game. Team Cherry has been supportive of the modding community, providing tools and encouragement. They understand that their game belongs to the players now, that the community's creativity extends the story in directions they never imagined. Let the community fade into the background. They'll be there tomorrow, creating and sharing and celebrating. Tonight, you rest. Silksong is coming. Someday. The sequel stars Hornet, the knight's half-sister, in a new kingdom called Farloom. She's been taken there against her will, captured by a mysterious force, and must fight her way to freedom. The gameplay looks faster and more aggressive than Hollow Knight, matching Hornet's acrobatic combat style. New abilities, new enemies, new mysteries to uncover. Team Cherry has been working on it for years, refining and expanding, making sure it lives up to the original. The anticipation is immense. Silksong Wen has become a meme, a shared joke about patience and hope. Every Nintendo Direct, every gaming event, fans watch and wait, hoping for news. The silence from Team Cherry is frustrating, but it's also reassuring. They're taking their time, making sure the game is ready. When Silksong releases, it will be an event. Millions of players will return to Team Cherry's world, ready to explore, ready to struggle, ready to fall in love all over again. The wait will be worth it. It always is, with games like this. But that's for another day, another night, another journey through a world that doesn't exist yet. Tonight, you rest in Hallownest, in the kingdom that does exist, that you've explored, that you know. The City of Tears is still reigning. The Mantis Lords are still waiting. The void is still pooling in the abyss, patient and hungry and eternal. And you're still here, drifting towards sleep, carried by facts and stories and the gentle weight of a world that feels impossibly real. The night's journey is over. All the journeys are over. The facts have been shared, the stories told, the secrets revealed. There's nothing left but rest. Hallownest will be there tomorrow. The challenges will wait. The mysteries will keep. Nothing requires your attention now. Nothing demands your effort. You can simply exist, empty and peaceful, drifting toward the comfortable darkness of sleep. The void embraces you, not as hunger, not as emptiness, but as peace, as the absence of worry, as the soft, still nothing that comes before dreams. You've earned this rest. You've travelled far tonight through a kingdom of bugs and gods and tragedy. You've learned things you might remember and things you might forget. None of it matters now. All that matters is the warmth of your bed, the weight of your blankets, the slow rhythm of your breathing. Sleep well, little knight. Sleep deeply and peacefully and well. The void is gentle here. The darkness is kind. Let it hold you as you drift away, carrying you somewhere soft and quiet and safe. Good night. One last thing before you drift away completely. A few final facts, gentle and quiet, to carry you the last distance to sleep. The game contains numerous Easter eggs and hidden details that most players never discover. There's a room in the abyss where you can find a massive creature in the background, never explained, never addressed, just existing as a reminder that the void contains things beyond understanding. The Pale King's obsession with saw blades extends beyond the White Palace. Concept art shows him surrounded by the spinning blades, suggesting they were always part of his character. Some fans theorize the saws represent his desire for precision, for control, for cutting away anything imperfect. The Knight's Nail is never named in the game, but the community has given it various titles. Some call it the Old Nail, referencing its worn appearance. Others simply call it the Knight's Nail. It's a small detail, but it shows how players fill in the gaps the game leaves open. Cloth Story can end in two ways, and both feel earned. If you meet her throughout the game and then fight the Traitor Lord, she appears to help you and dies in the battle, achieving the warrior's death she sought. If you defeat the Traitor Lord before meeting her enough times, she survives and leaves Hallownest, uncertain of her purpose, but alive. Neither ending is better. Both are true to her character. She wanted a glorious death, and she either gets it or has to find a new reason to live. The game doesn't judge either outcome. It just presents them and lets you feel whatever you feel. The nailsmith's choice works similarly. Kill him with the perfect nail he created, giving him the ending he asked for. Or spare him and let him find a new life with Shio, painting instead of forging. Both endings are valid. Both are supported by the game's themes. These choices matter because they're not about good or evil. They're about what kind of story you want to tell, what kind of ending feels right to you. The game trusts you to make those decisions and live with them. Your body is completely still now. Your mind is quiet and empty. Let these final thoughts dissolve into comfortable nothing. The game's title has multiple meanings. Hollow Knight refers to the vessel created to contain the Radiance, the being you eventually fight and replace. But it also refers to you, the Knight, who might be hollow or might not be. And it refers to the idea of hollowness itself, the emptiness that the Pale King sought, the void that makes up your being. Is hollowness a flaw or a feature? The game suggests both. The Hollow Knight failed because it wasn't truly hollow. It developed attachment, and that attachment cracked the seal. But you succeed perhaps because you're not hollow either. You have something driving you, some purpose or will that carries you through impossible challenges. Or maybe you are hollow. Maybe you're just a vessel doing what vessels do, following instinct without thought or feeling. The game never tells you. It lets you decide what you are. That ambiguity is the game's greatest strength. It creates space for interpretation, for personal meaning, for the kind of engagement that keeps players thinking about Hallownest years after they finish playing. The questions matter more than the answers. What happened to the Pale King? Why did the worm transform? What lies beyond the Weaver's seal? What is the massive creature in the abyss? The game doesn't answer these questions because the mystery is the point. Some things are meant to remain unknown. Let the mysteries remain. Let the questions fade. You don't need answers tonight. You don't need anything tonight except rest. The void is patient. It's been waiting at the bottom of Hallownest for eons, and it will keep waiting long after the kingdom is forgotten. It doesn't need you to understand it. It doesn't need you to fear it. It just exists, dark and deep and eternal, and tonight it embraces you. Not as a vessel, not as a knight, just as someone who needs rest, who has travelled far, who deserves the peace of dreamless sleep. The facts are over, the stories are told. Hallownest fades into comfortable darkness, its rain still falling, its secret still waiting, its tragedy complete, but somehow beautiful. You've done enough, you've listened enough, you've been enough. Now sleep. Sleep well, little knight. Sleep well. The game was praised for its value at launch. A massive, polished experience sold for just $15. Team Cherry could have charged more. The amount of content, the quality of the art and music, the depth of the world, it all justified a higher price. But they wanted the game to be accessible, to reach as many players as possible. That decision paid off. Word of mouth spread. Players told their friends. Reviews glowed with praise. The game became a phenomenon not through marketing, but through quality. Through the simple fact that everyone who played it wanted to share it with someone else. The Hollow Knight community is known for being welcoming to newcomers. Veterans help new players with tips and encouragement. Spoilers are carefully hidden. The shared experience of struggling through Deep Nest or finally defeating a difficult boss creates bonds between strangers. It's a community built on mutual appreciation for something beautiful. Fan theories continue to emerge years after release. What exactly is the Shade Lord? Is the Knight truly hollow? What happened to the civilizations that existed before Hallownest? Players debate these questions endlessly, finding new evidence, proposing new interpretations, keeping the mystery alive. The game's influence extends beyond its own community. Developers cite it as inspiration. Games that combine challenging combat with atmospheric exploration and cryptic storytelling owe a debt to Hollow Knight. It helped define what indie games could achieve, and through it all, Team Cherry has remained humble. They engage with fans, acknowledge feedback, express genuine gratitude for the support they've received. They're not a faceless corporation, but a small group of people who made something they loved and found an audience that loved it too. That connection between creators and players, between the game and its community, is part of what makes Hollow Knight special. It's not just a product, it's a shared experience, a world that belongs to everyone who's explored it, a story that continues in the minds of everyone who's heard it. And now that story has been shared with you. All of it. The lore and the trivia, the characters and the places, the tragedy and the hope. It's yours now, to remember or forget, to dream about or let fade. The void is patient. It will wait for you to return whenever you're ready, however long that takes. Hallownest isn't going anywhere. The rain will keep falling in the city of tears. The Mantis Lords will keep waiting in their throne room. The secrets will keep hiding in the dark, waiting to be found, but not tonight. Tonight you rest. Sleep well, little knight. Sleep deeply and peacefully and well. Good night.